Sharing all those details, viewers, we're shifting our focus towards Bangladesh, where a public prosecutor was killed after violent clashes erupted in Bangladesh following the arrest of a prominent Hindu leader, Chinmoy Krishna Das Brahmachari. Now, the unrest followed the denial of bail to Brahmachari, who is currently facing sedition charges. Now, during the clashes, a public prosecutor, Saiful Islam Alif, was killed. Now, Nurul Alam, a police inspector posted at the Chittagong Medical College Hospital, stated that Alif suffered severe head injuries. The ISKCON monk Brahmachari Chinmoy Das was arrested by Bangladesh authorities, and his sudden detention led to a nationwide protest by his supporters and widespread global condemnation of the Yunus-led government as well. Now, the protest turned violent when supporters of the Brahmachari, a member of the Bangladesh Sammilito Sanatan Jagaran Jote group, had surrounded a prison van transporting the priest after his court appearance in Chittagong. So, to give you all a brief timeline, sedition cases were in fact slapped against 19 Bangladeshi Hindu leaders, of which Chinmoy Das was included. These cases were slapped all the way back in 31st October, and back then Chinmoy Das had spoken out and had said that his arrest is imminent, and on 25th November, that is just 2 days back, he was arrested by authorities. Meanwhile, my colleague Renik Datta is joining us on the broadcast as well. Renik, you know, the heavy unrest is taking place in Bangladesh. Now, a public prosecutor has been killed as well. What is the latest that you're getting to know? Renik, can you hear me? Renik, can you hear me? What's the latest that is happening in Bangladesh?
हाँ, देखिए, चिन्मय कृष्ण दास को गिरफ्तार करने के बाद से ही बांग्लादेश में जो प्रोटेस्ट फिर से एक बार देखने को मिल रहा है। और बांग्लादेश में कल चिन्मय कृष्ण दास को जब चट्टग्राम कोर्ट में पेश किया गया था, उसी टाइम पर फिर से एक बार प्रोटेस्ट देखने को मिला था। चट्टग्राम का जो कोर्ट के सामने ये प्रोटेस्ट देखने को मिला था, मगर इसके बाद ही चिन्मय कृष्ण दास का जब बेल एप्लीकेशन जो था वो जब रिजेक्ट हुआ, उसी टाइम पर जो हमले का घटना घटा, उस घटना में एक पब्लिक प्रोसिक्यूटर का मौत हुआ है। जैसे कि बांग्लादेश का मीडिया के हवाले से खबर मिल रहा है कि पब्लिक प्रोसिक्यूटर सैफुल इस्लाम, उनका मौत हो चुका है। उनको पीटने का घटना घटा है, उनको मारकर हत्या कर दिया गया है और उनको हेड इंजरी हुआ था। उनको हॉस्पिटल में ले जाने के बाद ही उनको डेथ डिक्लेयर कर दिया गया है। ये पूरा घटना में अभी भी जो प्रोटेस्ट देखने को मिल रहा है। ढाका, चट्टग्राम, चिटागोंग में इस तरीके का प्रोटेस्ट देखने को मिल रहा है, क्योंकि एक तरफ चिन्मय कृष्ण दास को गिरफ्तार किया गया है। ये चिन्मय कृष्ण दास का गिरफ्तारी को लेकर इस्कॉन की तरफ से यह हो या माइनॉरिटी जो कम्युनिटी है, उनकी तरफ से कहा जा रहा है कि ये इलीगल तरीके से अरेस्ट किया गया है चिन्मय कृष्ण दास को, जिसके खिलाफ में देशद्रोह का मामला लगाया गया है। ये इलीगल तरीके से ये मामला दायर किया गया है और इसी वजह से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो ढाका में और उसके साथ साथ ही चट्टग्राम, चिटागोंग में भी दिखाई दे रहा है, क्योंकि 25 अक्टूबर को जब चिन्मय कृष्ण दास की तरफ से जो बयान दिया गया था, उस बयान के बेसिस पर ही बीएनपी लीडर बिमल दास की तरफ से कंप्लेन किया गया था चट्टग्राम पुलिस स्टेशन में। वो चट्टग्राम पुलिस स्टेशन में ये कंप्लेन के बेसिस पर ही देशद्रोह का मामला दायर किया गया था चिन्मय कृष्ण दास के खिलाफ में। और उसी मामले पर ढाका कोर्ट से बांग्लादेश का पुलिस का जो डिटेक्टिव डिपार्टमेंट है, उनकी तरफ से गिरफ्तार किया गया है ये चिन्मय कृष्ण दास को। और ये पूरा मामले को लेकर ही कल जब कोर्ट में उनको पेश किया गया था, उसी टाइम पर जो प्रोटेस्ट देखने को मिला है और पुलिस की तरफ से ये प्रोटेस्ट को हटाने के लिए लाठीचार्ज भी करना पड़ा है। अभी भी जो माहौल शांत करने के लिए पुलिस की तरफ से लगातार कोशिश किया जा रहा है। पुलिस की तरफ से लगातार मोबाइल पेट्रोलिंग किया जा रहा है एरिया में, कि किसी भी जगह में ये प्रोटेस्ट ना हो, किसी भी जगह में गैदरिंग ना हो। करीब कल 2.5 घंटे बाद चिन्मय कृष्ण दास को जेल कस्टडी में ले जाया गया है। सुबह 12:30 बजे 3:30 बजे के आसपास ही उनको जेल में ले जाया गया है।
All right, Renik, with that, I would like to thank you for joining us on the broadcast, sharing all those details. We also have with us Mr. Sanjeev Srivastav, international affairs expert. So over the last month, we've seen the fact that 19 Bangladeshi Hindu leaders have been slapped with sedition charges. One of them has now been arrested. There have been attacks that have been taking place against Hindus, attacks in which the Bangladeshi army was also involved. There are open threats that are being made to kill ISKCON devotees, and the Yunus government is doing nothing about it. But that's not all. The silence of the world is very glaring as well. International leaders and the countries such as the US and the UK, which are very quick to comment on the status of minorities in India, are now silent on the track record of the Yunus-led government in Bangladesh and their treatment of minorities. Do you think it is time the world actually wakes up to what's happening in Bangladesh? And do you think now with the change in government of the United States of America, with Trump coming to power in a few months, things might change for the better?
Well, Pia, first of all, a very good morning to you. Good morning to all the viewers. Absolutely, Pia, as you said very correctly, that it's high time, world wakes up to the grim realities, what is prevailing, what is going on in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, Hindu community is being constantly targeted. They are being persecuted. Hindu mandirs are being vandalized. Hindu community people are being targeted. And that's a sad reality, and which is an ongoing affair, unfortunately. But Bangladesh's interim government is not doing anything to prevent such kind of incidents happening. And rather, in my assessment, this interim government of Bangladesh, they are obviously working under the pressure of these extremist, terrorist, jihadi elements, which are very much there in Bangladesh, and they are doing all sorts of violent activities against Hindu community, against Awami League supporters too. So I think this is going to be a very, very sad development, and it will weaken the roots of democracy in Bangladesh. It will obviously create a very negative image of Bangladesh. Already it has damaged the image of Bangladesh. It was the same Bangladesh, Pia, which was working very, very fine, and it was moving towards progress and prosperity constantly under the regime of Sheikh Hasina. But suddenly everything appears to be changing now, and this Bangladesh is going into the dark phases. And a huge conspiracy, a very deep conspiracy was hatched by the extremist terrorist element. Obviously, the various extremist and terrorist elements which are there, right there in Bangladesh, also they have been supported by the Pakistani intelligence agency ISI, and they have got also the kind of a mute tacit support from the global powers, including, as you rightly mentioned, the United States of America under the leadership of Biden administration thus far has been very disappointing with regard to their dealing with Bangladesh. And I hope that when Trump administration takes over power from January 28th onwards next year, I expect that things will change because President Trump-elect during his campaign trail, he had expressed his concern about the plight of Hindu community in Bangladesh, and he had also said that had he been the president of the United States of America, then the things would not have happened the way it had happened in Bangladesh. So I think the kind of statement which has come out from President-elect Donald Trump during his campaign trail, it is expected that he will have a different approach, and the deep state of United States of America will not be able to do such kind of things which have been tacitly supporting this kind of element, etc. The white man, which Sheikh Hasina used to talk about, the white man will not be able to work that way, the way it has been working during the Biden administration. That is what is expected. So it is quite possible that things will change after January 20th. But that is 2 months away. But right now, the kind of incidents are happening. These are not acceptable, and obviously India is very much concerned. And our Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi, on our Independence Day, from the Killa, we had said that he will not. He had expressed his concern, and he had appealed to the interim government of Bangladesh not to allow such things to happen against Hindu community. So India has been pressurizing them, and it is expected that our leadership will continue putting pressure on Bangladesh's interim government. But unfortunately, it is very sad to say that it is quite clear that this interim government of Bangladesh is working under the pressure of these terrorist extremist elements, and that's a very sad part. And if things continue like that, then it will, plunge Bangladesh into a very dark phases, and this will not be good for the people of Bangladesh, and it will not be good for India and for the entire region as well.
Indeed, and it seems that the Bangladesh government just continues